Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the week ending. I'm Tunde Labi. Thank you for being part of the program today. The Queen's speech has featured primarily a series of bills to be introduced by the government to prepare the UK for a smooth and orderly departure from the European Union. It also featured plans by the government to introduce new national policies on immigration, trade, and public services.
My government's priority is to secure the best possible deal as the country leaves the European Union. My ministers are committed to working with Parliament, the devolved administrations, business and others to build the widest possible consensus on the country's future outside the European Union. A bill will be introduced to repeal the European Communities Act and provide certainty for individuals and businesses. This will be complemented by legislation to ensure that the United Kingdom makes a success of Brexit, establishing new national policies on immigration, international sanctions, nuclear safeguards, agriculture and fisheries. My government will seek to maintain a deep and special partnership with European allies and to forge new trading relationships across the globe. New bills on trade and customs will help to implement an independent trade policy, and support will be given to help British businesses export to markets around the world. My ministers will strengthen the economy so that it supports the creation of jobs and generates the tax revenues needed to invest in the National Health Service, schools, and other public services. My government will continue to improve the public finances while keeping taxes low. It will spread prosperity and opportunity across the country through a new modern industrial strategy. My government will work to attract investment in infrastructure to support economic growth. Legislation will be introduced to ensure the United Kingdom remains a world leader in new industries, including electric cars and commercial satellites. A new bill will also be brought forward to deliver the next phase of high-speed rail. My government will continue to work to ensure that every child has the opportunity to attend a good school and that all schools are fairly funded. My ministers will work to ensure people have the skills they need for the high-skilled, high-wage jobs of the future, including through a major reform of technical education. The national living wage will be increased so that people who are on the lowest pay benefit from the same improvements in earnings as higher-paid workers. My ministers will seek to enhance rights and protections in the modern workplace. My government will make further progress to tackle the gender pay gap and discrimination against people on the basis of their race, faith, gender, disability, or sexual orientation. Legislation will be brought forward to protect the victims of domestic violence and abuse. My government will reform mental health legislation and ensure that mental health is prioritised in the National Health Service in England. Proposals will be brought forward to ban unfair tenant fees, promote fairness and transparency in the housing market, and help ensure more homes are built. My ministers will work to improve social care and will bring forward proposals for consultation. My government will ensure fairer markets for consumers. This will include bringing forward measures to help tackle unfair practices in the energy market to help reduce energy bills. A priority will be to build a more united country, strengthening the social, economic, and cultural bonds between England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. My government will work in cooperation with the devolved administrations, and it will work with all of the parties in Northern Ireland to support the return of devolved government. A new law will ensure that the United Kingdom retains its world-class regime protecting personal data, and proposals for a new digital charter will be brought forward to ensure that the United Kingdom is the safest place to be online. Legislation will also be introduced to modernise the court system and to help reduce motor insurance premiums. My government will initiate a full public inquiry into the tragic fire at Grenfell Tower to ascertain the causes and ensure that the appropriate lessons are learned. To support victims, my government will take forward measures to introduce an independent public advocate who will act for bereaved families after a public disaster and support them at public inquests.
Meanwhile, the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has accused the government of choosing to continue with a policy and programme of austerity and inequality.
The Conservatives have no majority, no mandate and no plan. The Queen's speech was a threadbare legislative programme from a government that's abandoned its own manifesto after it was largely rejected by the people of Britain in the general election. But the Conservatives will try to continue implementing their devastating cuts to our police and firefighters, our National Health Service and schools, mental health services and women's shelters. Their programme of austerity and inequality is a choice. They've chosen to make life worse for the many to maintain the privilege of a few. Labour will fight this in Parliament, and Labour is waiting to form a government. We are ready to serve if the Conservatives cannot form their coalition of chaos with the DUP. If an election is called, we are ready to fight and win and implement our programme to build a Britain for the many, not the few.
The Prime Minister Theresa May has announced a series of measures to support all the victims of Grenfell Tower fire irrespective of their immigration status. She said it was good that the Chief Executive of Kensington and Chelsea Borough, Nicholas Holgate, has resigned amid criticism over the borough's response to the fire incident at the tower.
79 people have been confirmed dead or listed as missing, presumed dead. And with work still ongoing to recover the bodies, sadly the death toll may rise further. We already know that many children are among the dead and that in some cases whole families perished. And those who survived have lost loved ones, friends, neighbours, and in many cases everything they own. Mr. Speaker, it should never have happened. In a few moments I'll say how we're going to discover why it did. But as I said yesterday, that initial failure was then compounded by the fact that the support on the ground in the initial hours was not good enough. As Prime Minister, I have apologised for that second failure and taken responsibility for doing what we can to put it right. On my first visit to North Kensington, I met with the emergency services. These extraordinary men and women put their lives on the line in an effort to save others, and my first responsibility was to check they had all the resources they needed. I then visited Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, where I met some of the most seriously injured survivors. It was from that experience I decided we had to have an emergency fund. I also met a group of residents in Kensington who I then invited to come to Downing Street last weekend. I returned to Kensington again last night to hear directly from them about the progress that we are making. Mr. Speaker, what became clear very quickly is that the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea could not cope, and it is right that the Chief Executive Officer has now resigned. It is also why I set up the Grenfell Tower Recovery Task Force, which I have been chairing personally. But this is not just about the steps we take in the first few weeks. It is about a lasting commitment that we are making to supporting the families affected long after the television cameras have gone. So let me set out in detail the steps that we are taking to support the victims and rehouse those who have lost their homes. Mr. Speaker, on Friday morning the government established a central command centre under the leadership of John Barradell, the Chief Executive of the City of London and former lead for London Local Government on Resilience, and Eleanor Kelly, Chief Executive of the London Borough of Southwark. On behalf of the whole House, I want to thank John and his team for all the work they are doing. I also want to pay tribute to the fantastic response from London boroughs, including a number of chief executives who are currently working at the command centre, as well as the Mayor of London and leading figures from a number of councils from outside London. I want to thank the army of volunteers who stepped in to provide shelter, sustenance, comfort and practical support. And I want to thank my Communities Secretary and the Ministers for Housing and Planning, the Minister for London and the Minister for Policing and the Fire Service for the work they have been doing. Mr. Speaker, there are currently around 600 people working on the site and in the immediate area who are working to provide support to the victims. The Westway Sports Centre has been transformed into an emergency community hub, staffed by 40 officials from 6 government departments. They are making sure people have essential documents like driving licences and passports that are fundamental to carrying on with their lives. They've also been joined by experts from organisations such as Transport for London, Citizens Advice and the Red Cross, NHS mental health staff, nurses, care managers and a GP. Anyone affected by the blaze can walk in and access the support they need, and so far there have been almost 700 visits to the centre. The centre's on-the-ground work is supplemented by the Victim Support Unit, whose emergency helpline provides a single point of contact for victims who need to deal with multiple government services in the wake of the disaster. Each family whose home was destroyed is receiving a £5,000 down payment from the emergency fund so they can buy food, clothes and other essentials. And outreach workers are seeking to make sure everyone gets the money they're entitled to. We are also paying all additional adults over 16 in these households £500 in cash. Other cash payments are being paid out by the Council on a discretionary basis, for example to those whose home has been severely impacted but not permanently destroyed. As of midday on Wednesday, we had made payments of over £700,000. It is absolutely essential, Mr. Speaker, that people understand they can keep the money they receive. These grants are not loans, and they will not be expected to repay a single penny. Neither are they waiving any legal rights as a result of accepting this financial help. The payments will be disregarded for means-tested welfare payments, so no one in receipt of benefits will see their benefits cut if they accept emergency support. And I would like to reassure people that we will not use this tragic incident as a reason to carry out immigration checks on those involved or on those providing vital information to identify victims or those assisting with the criminal investigation. We will make sure that all victims, irrespective of their immigration status, will be able to access the services they need, including healthcare and accommodation.
In the wake of the series of incidents across the City of London, from the Westminster, London Bridge and Finsbury Park mosque terror attacks to Grenfell Tower fire, BNTV Amanda Larake has been talking to people on their perception of security and safety in London.
We're here on the streets of London to find out whether Londoners feel that the government is guaranteeing their safety in the wake of the recent London terrorist attacks and the Grenfell Tower fire. Let's hear what the Londoners have to say.
I hope everyone stays safe, everyone stays safe. I hope everyone works well together, everyone looks at everyone's back. If anything's happening, everyone helps everyone. I hope the government are doing all right. They're helping the victims. The Grenfell victims have been relocated now.
Yes, they have.
Do you know what I mean? They've been relocated to nice apartments. I think the government are helping. It's a shame what happened. It's a real shame. Because I used to live in the tower blocks. I used to live in Northumberland Park. I used to live in tower blocks. And if that happened to me now, do you know what I mean? I would be here. So as I said, it's a shame, but as I said, the government is helping out.
Personally, I don't think the government is doing enough to protect the citizen at the moment. And I think there's a lot of things the government can do to protect the people in the community. First, I think the government needs to step out of their comfort zone and engage the community in sort of things that will really unite people. Because at the moment, we can really understand that there's no unity.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, British and both minority and citizen has come to stay. And I feel the best way to move forward is try as much as possible to unite everyone together. And, you know, I understand people say they are terrorists and they're Muslim and this. I still believe Muslims are good people. I'm not Muslim, but I still believe Muslims are good people. But it's just there's a minority of people that is causing a lot of conflict.
Sure.
And this is the kind of thing the government need to assure people that the Muslim people are not really bad people.
Yes.
To be honest, I don't think the government is doing enough. Certainly not enough. I think the public are doing more. They're supporting voluntarily, which they're not happy about. And government is not doing their part. But that building, originally, they should have checked for fire safety.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, there was another fire that went on a few years back.
Yeah.
And then we were told that that building was going to be checked over, which they didn't.
Right.
And what I feel for my community is a threat to my community. I have children, and I feel frightened. My children go to school, university, and it's really worrying. Are they going to come home safe? Are they going to be pushed on the streets? Are they going to be run over? It's really, really worrying to come out feeling confident. You're always in fear, worried that is someone going to attack you.
Right.
Really, really scared to even come out of the house sometime. But
A lot.
Yes.
In the light of these recent terrorist
yes,
attacks.
it's 100%, yes. And the government is not doing enough. I personally feel the government is racist in a hidden way. They say they're helping, but they're not. That's how I feel.
For the government, you know, they're standing for the people's, you know, safety, and they're working hard. And the other thing is, if the people are missing this country, because I'm British Muslim,
Right.
I'm not happy what happened. Whatever they call, whatever the religion they have, we are not happy. We stand together. We are very sorry what happened, and we are crying every day, you know, for these people who lost their life. And we are, you know, in the future of our children, we are scary. We don't know what to do. My back home is the same. It's not here only. What you don't want, they claiming they are Muslim, but they are not Muslim. That's what I believe. If they are Christian, they are not Christian. Whatever they believe, we have to deny, and we have to say they are not with us. We don't know why they killing the people, innocent civilians. Allah will punish them.
Yeah, I think the government is not doing enough, honestly. The government is not doing enough at all. Because even look at up till now what happened in the Grenfell Tower.
Right.
Most of the people are sleeping in cars and other places. They haven't even been able to rehouse them, which is really, really bad, you know. And I think these tower blocks has to be abolished,
Right.
most of them. And if they are putting up new council houses, they should build houses with quality materials.
Sure.
Well, I'll say my own opinion, which is we had last week a march here in central London where you had all sorts of flags being risen, like the Hezbollah flag and all kind of terrorist flags. My question is, if the government is trying to fight terror, the way to do that is not by giving the terrorists opportunity to be able to march around in London with their heads up high with terrorist flags. So if they want to fight terror, the first thing is not to give them the opportunity to have their opinions said out loud publicly in the road and try to crack down on all the terrorists, basically. I mean, it's hard to say that you're fighting terror and then letting people carry the Hezbollah flags in central London with the full support of the government and the police. That's my opinion, private opinion.
I think that I've seen more officers on the street today in London than I would normally see and normally expect, and I think that shows a concerted response by the Met to step up to what's being asked of them. There's 2 police officers walking past us right now. I think that asking the current government to step up to the current threat might be a waste of time, realistically. We faced years of cuts. Government services have been stripped to the bone, and now we're asking them to deal with domestic terrorism and, well, Grenfell is the historical response to all those cuts, isn't it? So no, I don't think we can ask the government to step up. So I think it's up to London to pull together and do whatever it can do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that we get through.
We come together in solidarity to fight this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
That's the reason May and just the Conservatives, they bomb Syria, bomb all these other countries in like the Middle East and stuff like that. And those kids don't deserve that. As much as we don't deserve that here, kids that don't deserve that. And I think we should use a different approach, like what Jeremy Corbyn suggests, rather than what Theresa May and the Conservatives suggest.
Okay.
So far, I feel like if they're just saying like every day is just a statement. There's no action.
Yeah.
It's just words, no action. But I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're doing anything.
How do you feel about coming to London as a tourist and sort of seeing all of these incidences happen? Do you feel scared?
Yeah, you do. 100% you feel scared, and there's people, because I'm from the Midlands, my family won't come down, there's some friends that won't come down. But I think if you live here, you have to carry on and like hope that it's not going to happen again. But I mean, I do feel safe.
Londoners feel that the government isn't doing enough, whilst others feel that the government is doing everything that they can. But the main message gathered here today is that people really want to come together in unity, solidarity, love and support. I'm Amanda Lara Kay for Ben TV. Over to you in the studio, Tundi.
I've known Sheung for a couple of years now. He's become a real good friend of our family. He's been our producer together with my husband for 2 albums now, and he's been an amazing help for us. He plays any instrument you can think of: piano, keyboard, synthesizer, guitar, talking drum, anything you can think of. This man will play it. So just, you know, very, very, very musical. He's just produced a new album. Jehovah Is Your Name. You have to listen to it. It's very, very beautiful.
Hi, what can I say about Sheung? A truly amazing guy. I met him when I was looking for a producer. He had been introduced to me by a mutual friend, but I found him to be a true professional. Great music, great sounds, great beats, plays all sorts of instruments. I just fell in love with his composure, his professionalism, and the way that he approaches projects. He was truly a pro. So I am excited about his single. I can't wait. I mean, he did a great job on my own single. So I'm thinking, if he could be that great on mine, surely he's even going to be much better on his. Sheung, 100%.
I'd like to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, a brother, a humble, intelligent instrumentalist, Sheung. A good brother of mine that I've known for years now, and for all the time I've known him to be a son who is just humble in interpretation of the gift God has given to him, and looking at the project God has inspired him to do, which is Jehovah Is Your Name. I'd like to say that this project has been well packaged and cooked for your view, for your inspiration, and for you to be blessed by.
My name is Apostle Shegun George. I have known Sheung, Evangelist Sheung, for about 10 years. He plays keyboard, talking drum. He's also a producer. He's very articulate in what he does. Under his leadership, many people have become guest artists. I'm happy to recommend him at all levels of music. And his new album is coming out, Jehovah Is Your Name, which should not be missed by anybody.
With that, we conclude the news roundup for this week. Thank you for being part of the program. I'm Tunde Alabi. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Another business segment of Dialogue in Diaspora, 2 to 3 p.m. every Monday. But guess what? You can be part of the program. Just send us an email at bentelevisionuk@gmail.com. Dialogue in Diaspora, your voice, your opinion on our TV.